So it's currently 6:37, and I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, but in true chamber fashion, we would like to go ahead and get things started on time. So if everyone can please start making their way to their seats. I will be calling Jennifer up to the podium here in a moment, and we will be getting started here in the next 30 seconds. So again, if I can get everyone to grab those final drinks, grab those final plates. I want to say a huge thank you to Sheldrake Point Winery for being here, one of our sponsors for this event. I'm pretty sure Chuck has some of their rosé in the back, one of my personal favorites. So please make sure to help yourselves throughout the evening. Got about 20 more seconds here and we'll be getting started. I see Miss Patty Brown is here. How you doing, Patty? It's good to see your face in person. I see we got a few more people making their way over from the bar. Got our friends Well Said Media here in the house. Got Nicholas on camera, Mr. Marcus Terry over here in the corner on tech. Want to give a huge thank you and shout out to East Hill Jazz. Say it one more time for me out loud, Johnny. There it is. It's the classic that I always forget. East Hill Classic Jazz Band for providing our entertainment this evening. We will hear some more of the smooth stylings of the East Hill Classic Jazz Band toward the end of the evening. Want to thank all of our attendees that are joining us virtually via YouTube. Many people are saying they wish that they could be here. We do have the Desch family with us this evening. William sends his love to everyone that was able to make it here in person. It's good to have you guys here with us. Got about 15 more seconds. This is like an NFL countdown where the time keeps extending and it's not in real time. You're okay.
And then I need to keep this.
Yep. You ready? All right. I see Mr. Frank Kruppa here. I feel much safer knowing that Frank's in the house. I'm going to go ahead and put my mask on. I don't want to get yelled at by Frank. Miss Leslyn McBean Claiborne is joining us. How are you doing, Leslyn? I love it. I knew a curtsy was coming. Pleasure to have you in the building as well. We have our friends from Serendipity joining us this evening. I see Miss Stephanie sitting right there. My friend Alex. Alex, where did all that luxurious hair go?
I'm gonna get moving. Good seeing you. Here's my card.
Thank you so much, Lonnie.
Yeah,
Pleasure to meet you, brother. And I hear that you're doing a concert with Travis on Saturday.
I am.
I'll be there. Thank you. Mr. J.R. Claiborne is in the building. If I had a hat on, I would tip it for you, sir. Good to see you. Miss Susan Riley is here. I see you in the back. It's good to see your face in person, Susan. I see our friends from CFCU are here. Miss Kellyanne O'Mara and M&T Bank is here as well. See our friends from Holt Architects are here. Gary Stewart and our friends from Cornell are also in the building, as well as our presenting sponsors from Cayuga Medical, as well as Tompkins Trust Company and Schraube Walker. Thank you all for being here as well. We've got a few more people that are grabbing those last-minute drinks at the bar. Thank you all for finding your seats. Thank you all for being here. I see Miss Michelle Courtney Berry and Alternatives Federal Credit Union. It's good to see you. You guys didn't know this, but I'm about to start doing some spoken word poetry here in a minute, so everybody get your snaps together. I've gotten really good via Zoom of stalling and killing time, so I've been practicing for this night all year. Mr. George Ferrari is here. George, it's good to see you, buddy. Make sure we catch up tonight before you leave, okay? Let's see, who else do we have in the back? I see Miss Heather McDaniel is here, and I see Miss Terry Tarshish and Kelly Cartmill are both in the building from Hilton Garden Inn. Once again, I do want to thank our host for Cultivare for hosting us this evening. It's good to be back in the building and see so many familiar faces. And I do believe we're going to go ahead and turn things over to Miss Jennifer Tavares to get us started. All right, Jennifer.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, let's do that. How good is this, right? It is really, really great to be together here tonight, and I have the tremendous honor to be able to welcome all of you to the 2021 Tompkins County Annual Dinner and Awards. This is the first large business get-together in more than a year for the Chamber. I know it's my first large get-together, and it really has been, it's been great to look around and see everybody just having a great time. So the really good news for me was that when I put my suit on tonight, it still fit, and that was, that's not much of a stretch. We haven't had this on too much in the last year. I think when this started more than a year ago on March 13th, for many of us, 2020, we left thinking we'd be gone for a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. And here we are 14 months later, and it really is wonderful to be back. And I want to give a special welcome to everybody on video. I think, Jennifer, we've got about as many on video as we do in the room. So great to have all of you here, and we look forward to seeing all of you in person again here very soon as well. One thing I know I won't be hearing from any of you tonight is you're on mute, which is great. If I never hear that again, it will be too soon. It's been a remarkable year. It's been unprecedented, and it's been, I think, surreal for many of us. We've adopted an entirely new vocabulary. Words that wouldn't have had any place in our conversations a year ago are now central to our conversations. Words like quarantine, variant, pivot is a big one, long hauler, herd immunity, Zoom, both the noun and the verb. How about Zoom fatigue, flattening the curve, community spread? But I think the one that for me will actually sum up our pandemic experience is the word resilience. It has been really remarkable to see how our community has responded to this. I take a look at the staffs of all of our companies that went home literally overnight and figured out how to do their jobs from home on their couches and kitchen tables while kids are running around. I know that I've met more cats, dogs, and kids in the last year. I feel like I've become very personal with our team. It's great. But the resilience of our business community has been more than resilient. We've all figured out how to serve our customers with unthinkable restrictions and barriers. We went home, we closed our doors, and yet we figured out how to serve customers and continue to get the job done. And there have been some losses over the last year, but by far and away, we've had far more survivors. And I think everybody really needs to be very proud of what has taken place over the last year. We've pulled a lot of lessons from this pandemic, but I know at this point I'm tremendously optimistic about the future. I'm very optimistic about our future here in Ithaca. We live in a tremendous place, and we've learned that you can work from anywhere. So why wouldn't people want to live and work from here? And I think that that's going to be one of our great opportunities for us as companies and for us as a community, is welcoming people who maybe before wouldn't have seen this place as an opportunity. And today it is, even if your employer is somewhere else. So I want to say cheers, Jennifer, to you and the Chamber for all that you've done over the last year to keep our business community together. This is why we belong to the Chamber. We need a strong organization that knits our business community together and provides the support that we need, because if there's one lesson I know I've learned in the last year, it's that personal connections are the most important. And I think our Chamber helps to bring those personal connections to bear. So with that, have a great evening, and congratulations to all of our award winners, and I will turn it over to Jennifer. Cheers.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. Really phenomenal words. I couldn't have said any of that better myself, so I really appreciate you being here to welcome us this evening, and certainly also for the support that you and the Trust Company give to the Chamber and to our community all year long for many, many years now. I want to echo Greg's welcome and express my appreciation to all of you who are here with us this evening, and also to those of you who are joining us remotely. There's well over 200 of us gathering together tonight, and it really, as I think back to everything that we've been through together in the last 15 months, the quarantines, the masks, the distancing, the travel advisories, the business restrictions, the testing and the tracing, so many Zoom meetings that we wouldn't need to ever do one again, I'm pretty sure at this point. The scrambles for funding, the endless pivoting, and the ways that we've demonstrated over and over again how resilient and how creative and how caring we are as a community. It seems both wonderful and also surreal, I think, that we're all here tonight. So I feel a tremendous amount of gratitude and also just really, I think, good fortune that this could all happen. It's magnificent what we've all accomplished together. I'm grateful to see you all, and also those of you, again, joining us virtually, I'm sure you're all very zoomed out, and the fact that you're logging in again in the evening on a very hot, beautiful summer day at the end of May is really just, I think, a testament to how much we all value one another and how much the experience that we've all been through together is something that we will all share for many years to come. I really briefly want to, you saw a slide roll earlier this evening, and there's also on the back of your programs at your seats a lot of sponsor recognition due this evening. I think you all know by now that if it weren't for sponsors and investors at higher levels than just what ticketed events pay and just what memberships pay, we would never, as an organization, be sustainable. So our presenting sponsors, Cayuga Medical Center and Tompkins Trust Company. I don't even know how many years now you've been our presenting sponsors for our annual meeting, but we're so grateful. Our award winner and gift and flower sponsor is Sharaba Walker. Our production sponsor this evening is CSP Management. Our media partner is Well Said Media. Our wine sponsor, which I hope you'll visit a few times throughout the evening, is Sheldrake Point Winery. And I did mean to say at the beginning, if you feel you need to get up and use the facilities or get some more food, please do. We don't want all the food just sitting here uneaten for any reason. So just if you need to move around the room, please feel comfortable doing so. And then we have a number of table sponsors as well this evening. Alternatives Federal Credit Union, CFCU Community Credit Union, Cornell University, Elmira Savings Bank, Holt Architects, M&T Bank, and Visions Federal Credit Union. Thanks also to Businesses Blooming for our lovely floral arrangements, and to Cultivare for hosting us this evening. Jason Seidel and your team, it is not an easy thing to do what you do under normal circumstances, but this being the first big event in this space in 15 months, and you allowing us to be your first is really meaningful, and congratulations and thank you to the team at Cultivare. Now I want to take just a minute to recognize our team. Many of them are here with us tonight. A few of them are joining us virtually. I think most of you know this, but the dedication of the staff at the Chamber and Convention and Visitors Bureau to our business community, to area nonprofits, to our tourism partners, to preserving and enhancing the quality of life in our community, and to supporting economic growth was never in question. It's something I've always taken to be true and certainly observed in the team. But the depths of their caring and their passion for their work has never been more evident than it was in the last year plus. And they went to great lengths to support our stakeholders and to respond to this emergency. Their care and concern for our stakeholders, their empathy, the way that they championed our businesses and our tourism partners, and everything they did to assist our partners to get through the year is something I'm very grateful for. And based on what we've heard from our partners and our members, so are you. So I want to just recognize team members who are here. If you could stand or raise your hand. You deserve a round of applause for all of your hard work. Thank you so much. And David Walton deserves an extra shout out for being our event and program manager and pulling all of this together for us this evening. Thank you, David. Great job. I want to also thank our board of directors. Many of you are here. Many of you are at home as well. You've offered a lot of advice and support to our team, to our community. You've also agreed to be on the board for an extra year. We extended the term of your service in the middle of the national emergency, and you said yes to that as well. So thank you to the board of directors and all of our volunteers, chamber ambassadors, and everyone who gives so willingly to our organization. We really appreciate you. Thank you. Now I have just a few highlights from 2020 to share. We've shared some things along the way. In front of you tonight is our annual report for both the Chamber and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We want to share just a little bit more, and those of you who aren't in the room tonight, I promise the annual report will hit your inbox next week, and it'll be uploaded to our website as well. The pandemic brought so much opportunity and also so many challenges early on for all of us. Our team responded really quickly before there were even shutdowns by offering comprehensive resources on our website, by communicating and sharing information via email regularly. We also were fortunate to collaborate with several other community partners, economic development organizations, local governments, Cayuga Health System, and so many others to make important resources available to really help preserve and stabilize the business community in so many ways. It was everything from identifying PPE and critical supplies that employers suddenly needed overnight, which you all might recall a year ago, it was really hard to find masks. They're everywhere now. I'm sure you all have 28 really cool looking masks that match all your outfits, but a year ago, that was definitely not the universe we were living in. Frank and his team and so many others helped set up a mask making operation. We actually helped fundraise to serve lunch to the people making the masks. I mean, it's almost impossible now to look back and remember some of the things that we all went through early on. We surveyed business owners regularly to understand the impacts of the pandemic and what resources they would need so that all of the services and funding opportunities could be tailored to respond as quickly as possible. We also helped envision those funding resources and make funding allocations to hundreds of businesses in Tompkins County. We did a lot of consumer awareness and marketing and business supporting local, shopping local campaigns, educating about mask wearing and being safe together, all of those things which seem sort of second nature now that really were not about 14 or 15 months ago. But the most rewarding thing about all of our work in 2020, I know I speak on behalf of all of our team, when we were really in the trenches and things were really difficult, was hearing from our members and our tourism partners and all of our stakeholders that the work that we were doing was mattering to them and that it was actually helping their businesses survive. And if we hadn't received some of that feedback and really heard those things and received some of those testimonials from folks, I think, our job would have been much harder. The membership is actually in a relatively strong position, all things considered. We were able to onboard a number of new members last year. We brought on 35 new members. We retained almost 100% of our membership investment income, which is almost inconceivable in a year like we had last year. Serendipity and many others had ribbon cutting ceremonies, and new businesses were still starting, and there's so many bright points and so many things to celebrate throughout the year that really helped keep us going. And again, to Greg's point, the resilience of this community is just impressive. Our Member of the Week program allowed us to feature 35 different local businesses. That's sponsored by Visions, and it's a really wonderful partnership for us to all encourage local shopping awareness, local organization awareness. We also were able to do some fundraising with the support of, I'm sure, many people in this room to help businesses who didn't have the revenue that they needed make it through the year and still receive services that would support them. We had to overhaul all of our programming, start doing things virtually that we would never have imagined. Many of the partners in this room helped us offer 19 COVID-19 business readiness and response and recovery webinars. We also managed to host, before all this happened, a couple of our best record-breaking events in 2020. If we could all remember, we had a phenomenal economic summit, some really fantastic business after hours, and I know that we're all very excited to be returning to those type of events again here very soon. A big thing that we did was try to keep people connected and having them feel supported. There were so many times when we gathered a roundtable group together and people just needed a place to vent, they needed a place to share, they needed a place where their peers were, where they couldn't share these things with their employees, they couldn't tell the community what they were going through, but they would just get into these spaces and just let it all go. And honestly, that's something that is just tremendously important for us to be able to do as an organization and a service that we're very happy to continue providing. We, of course, had to retool so many things, and another one of those things was our Workforce Attraction Initiative. We're in a very different place now. I'm sure most of you know we've found ourselves right back into a workforce shortage position again, but about a year ago, we had really high unemployment. We had a lot of people who'd been laid off. We had just a very, very turbulent economy, and it was hard to know whether we should continue pushing the gas on trying to attract people to our community, attract people to jobs here. We did take a little bit of a pause, but there were still many successes, such as continuing to share how wonderful this community is. It is a great place to live. It's an ideal place for remote work and to move your business after an experience like this, if perhaps you find the community that you're in right now not ideal for what you really want in life now. So those are ways that we can continue to leverage Live in Ithaca and our Workforce Attraction Initiative in the future. Prior investments continue to pay off in 2019 and 2020. Ithaca is always and once again ranked a top place to live, one of the best places to move after a pandemic. We continue to have an on-the-job training grant program last year, and I think many of you experienced, David hosts a program almost monthly called Welcome Home Wednesdays, where people who are just coming to our community or being recruited to our community can really get a deep understanding of what it's like to live here, get custom job search support, custom, which organizations, which trails, which places can your kids go in the summer kind of advice. We had a lot of people, as you can imagine, it's a really difficult time to try to move to a new place when you can't actually leave your house and you can't actually go and network anywhere. So that was another important service that we could manage to continue providing last year during the pandemic. And then finally, I'm sure many of you know, in so many different ways, the Chamber and CVB had to step up our advocacy efforts last year. When regulations are changing so fast and things are just coming down from Albany, and I know people are making the best decisions they could at the time with the best information that they had, they didn't always understand how those decisions are impacting small businesses or people at the local level, or how, it doesn't make a lot of sense that I can go to Walmart and Lowe's and Wegmans, but I can't go into this little tiny retailer down the street that has almost no people in it. Those are the kinds of things that we tried to share often with some of our leaders, some of our state officials and their employees. We continue to advocate for more sensible regulations, solutions that would suit both the employers as well as the workers. There were a lot of imbalance, I think, in some of the ways that resources were disseminated early on, and I think some of that work is going to continue, as you all know, in the years to come. Looking forward, there's a lot of exciting things going on, and I think a lot of reasons to be hopeful. At the Chamber, we are really looking forward to the opportunity to be in a new location. I think most of you know our building was on the market this year. It is under contract. We are engaging in the process of deciding where our next home is. Feel free to send me an email if you have ideas. We are excited about how we might leverage this opportunity as an organization and all of the different wonderful things that are going on in this community that may align with our goals and our mission as an organization. We're going to continue working on workforce attraction and workforce development issues because that really is the biggest thing that we're hearing from all of our stakeholders that they need help with. We're very proud to be partnering with Tompkins County and the Tompkins Chamber Foundation to create a new Tompkins County Microenterprise Grant Program. Very, very likely, I'm pretty sure that we're going to get $300,000 to do rural microenterprise development outside of the city of Ithaca in our rural small towns and our rural downtowns, hopefully sometime in the next 6 months. We're all going to continue focusing on hospitality sector recovery. I think it's very obvious to most of you that this is the most impacted sector in so many ways, and that's something that the Chamber and CVB both are going to continue focusing on this year. We're excited that we are. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal, but we're also planning more in-person events, and many people have asked, so I figured now's a good time to tell you there will be a golf tournament, in case you're wondering. I know a few of you are ready to play some golf with us, and we're excited that we'll be able to have you at the new Rodnick Golf Course in September, I believe on September 2nd, David? September 2nd. All right, mark your calendar, September 2nd. So finally, thank you all again for your time, your support, your continued investment. I don't want to go on. I could show you more slides. There's cool stuff in the report at your table. Just as this community was among the best positioned in the country to manage this pandemic and to navigate through this crisis because of the way that we work together, and I have to tell you, I'm in some regional groups, and it's very apparent to me that not every county in New York State works together the way that our county does. We have a true gem here, and we are truly fortunate to have the people in leadership that we have, to have Dr. Stallone, to have Frank Kripa, and so many other people helping us navigate this. And I know that right now it's a pandemic, right now it's an economic crisis, but next year it could be something else. We have now figured out, even better than we knew before, how to work together and how to solve problems, and that makes me feel very confident in the future in this community. I said this a few years ago, but I think it bears repeating, that in this room, I know that we all share a vision for a thriving, growing, sustainable economy, an unparalleled quality of life in this community, and an engaged community of people who will benefit for years to come from the work that we're all doing together. So I just look forward to continuing on that path with all of you, and I want to thank you again for being here with us this evening. And now I get to turn it over to Peggy Coleman, who is going to share a bit more about the CVB side of house. You want this thing and the right-hand clicker.
Okay. So here we have the pre-pandemic hair and then the current hair. So a lot's happened in the last 5 quarters, I guess I would say. So thank you, Jennifer, and I appreciate everyone being here tonight. In the tourism world, having large gatherings is part of what we do, and so it's exciting to be here and to see everyone here. So I just would like to kind of wander through a little bit of what last year was, and it was definitely a reminder that tourism is a shared community value. It's not just about hotels who benefit from visitor spending. So let's think about the impact on the tourism economy. Our sales and lodging taxes, we were the first impacted and the longest impacted, and we're trying like heck to come back. But we saw a 58% decrease year over year. That's scary. We also had our intercity bus fees disappear pretty much about the middle of March last year. Our air travel was gone. Visitor spending in our retail and dining establishments disappeared. As Gary Ferguson, one of our great partners, can share with you, a lot of our downtown businesses rely on the majority of their business from visitors. And our live entertainment spending disappeared as well. So this is an impact on all of us. But there's always a silver lining. You know, the tourism people, we're always in charge of putting the right spin on it, right? So I just want to remind everybody of some of the silver linings we experienced. The phrase that tormented me since the moment I started working here was centrally isolated. Well, hey, who knew that a pandemic would make that a good thing? Also, our clear health and safety protocols, the way we communicated our community culture and what our partners were doing, was a really positive impact on visitation for people to come here. Longwoods International, which is the #1 research firm for tourism trends literally in the world, that is what they've been surveying people since last March, and that keeps coming up over and over and over again. The way that people communicate about their health and safety and COVID protocols is what's convincing people on where they're going to travel. And that's why we've been able to see visitors come back. Also, the value of our relationships that we've seen. The image that you see right there, that's our first tour that came back. You don't notice all those buses rolling through the community because they're just there and they happen. We had not had a tour bus roll through Tompkins County for over 9 months. This happened last October, and they came here because they respected our community culture and the way that we respect each other. Also, our partnership with I Love New York. Obviously, if room tax doesn't exist, then neither does funding for the CVB, right? So we've established a lot of really great partnerships through the years, and they came back to support us. I Love New York featured Tompkins County businesses in 8 different blogs last year during the pandemic, as we were inspiring people to remember the places where they feel calm and our waterfalls and wide open spaces. One of the things that has been inspiring me is some economic development programs coming up, and it feels like we've been working on this for forever, but I'm talking about the Community Conference Center, the Ithaca Community Conference Center. This started out as an economic development tool, but it really is a recovery tool for us. We have had many, many pieces of business that we've had to turn away because we haven't had the capacity to host visitors on those conferences in that size here. This conference center really can help us by driving 22,000 new rooms annually, 60 new jobs, over 63,000 new feet on the street, foot traffic, and $160 million of economic impact into the community over a 20-year period. Another success I'd love to share with you is our Ithaca Loves Teachers celebration. This is something we've been doing for, 14, 15 years. And in 2020, that was February 2020, so before all this COVID stuff happened. And we were very blessed with a great partnership with Visions Federal Credit Union, who came on to help us celebrate education. And they came back with us again for 2021 when we reimagined the event. So instead of calling it a festival in 2021, it was a celebration. And we still had many of our business partners thank us for hosting it, and more importantly, a lot of those educators, mostly from New York State, to say thank you. It's been a rough year, and we really appreciate that Ithaca loves us. So looking forward, some of the other things that we're experiencing in the 5th quarter of 2020, as I like to refer to January through March of this year, it still looked pretty similar to last year, but we're seeing our visitor inquiries growing. We're seeing our visitor centers reopening. We are hosting media, which is exciting because we've gotten a lot of good press. And people believe the press more than they believe me because, hey, I get paid to tell everybody how fabulous this place is. We've got tours booked for this coming fall, and we have some meeting planners who are very interested in coming and bringing their events, some later for the conference center, but some in the short term. And so I just want to remind everyone that tourism is economic development. We will not have the 2020 figures until probably late in the year. We get those through New York State. However, just a reminder, in 2019, the economic impact of tourism was over 3,500 jobs over $230 million in visitor spending, and $773 of tax relief per household. So if visitor spending disappeared in 2019, you'd all be spending that much more when you paid your taxes. And that equates on a day that it's 80 degrees to about 172 ice cream sandwiches from Purity Ice Cream. So think about that when you're feeling hot and hungry. Tourism works for our community. So now I would like to invite our board chair, Jeff, to come up and continue with our conversation.
Great job, Peggy, and it's nice to hear the optimistic point of view coming out now. Good evening, everybody. It's been exactly 435 days since I've been in the same room as Jennifer Tavares. It's perhaps been longer since I've seen any of you in 3 dimensions. In fact, tonight's the first night I get to meet David, sit at the same table with him. He's been working for us well before COVID. Yet in that time, we've had more opportunities in our community to collaborate, create, and exasperate over the latest challenge factor throwing at us. This is truly a remarkable community, and I'm very proud to say that I am from Tompkins County. We collectively protected each other, our families, our organizations, our businesses, our school communities, and our neighbors. Our local governments worked. Our healthcare institutions provided us excellent care. Our higher ed institutions thought deeply and communicated well. And our essential workers kept us fed, warm, clothed, safe, and so much more. Through it all, I watched the chamber rise to the challenge. I watched its leaders engage in self-sacrificial behavior and self-sacrificial leadership. Our employees hung in there in spite of all the uncertainty. Their devotion to our members and our mission enabled us to survive. And now, it appears we're about to thrive. Thank you, Jennifer, Peggy, and team for carrying us through this unforgettable era of the chamber. Let's give them a round of applause again. I also want to thank our board of directors who agreed to serve an additional year in their current term to support navigating the pandemic. It really came down to we had no idea how to hold an election, and well, there you go, you have it. So we got stuck for an extra year. We figured it out. We'll be doing it coming up soon. First, to recognize Rachel Hogenkamp, the chair, and thank her for her steady leadership during the pandemic. I don't know if everybody knows this, but she agreed to a 1-year term. And then we made a deal and she extended it for 6 more months. And then we made another deal and she extended it for another 6 months. 2 years as our chair. Grateful for her sacrificial leadership too and the amount of time she put into this effort. Let's have a round of applause for Rachel. Paul Brenner is our past chair. Kelly Cartmill, second chair-elect. Amy Isles, our treasurer. Allie Evans, the vice chair for government and community affairs. Michael Katz, Vice Chair for Membership, and Mary Stassi, Vice Chair for Business Development. We'd also like to recognize and thank the following for their board service this past year. Larry Abolaji, Simone Barrett, Greg R. Browse, Patricia Brown, Jerry Dietz, Gary Ferguson, George Ferrari, Bill Guerrero, Christina Lacey, Todd Mallinson, Julia Maddock, then Natalie Bronowski, Heather McDaniel, Karen Parks, Mike Ziegler, Susan Riley, Aaron Rovitz, Emily Russell, Joe Sammons, Jason Sanford, Suzanne Smith-Jablonski, Caleb Smith, David Turan, and John Turner. I don't know how you manage a board that large. I'm glad my board is only 9, but we're grateful for that. Thank you to our board. Unfortunately, we say goodbye after the 2020 service year to the following after long tenures with the Chamber. and thank them both for their numerous contributions and sage advice. Alan Peterson and Helen Talty. Helen's here. Our next order of business, we do have to do a little bit of business at an annual meeting, is to accept the annual report, which is at your tables, and I know you've all read it, so you're ready to vote if you're a chamber member. And it was presented in part by Jennifer and Peggy. Could I have a motion to accept that report? Rachel? Can I have a second? Mike? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify somehow. They said aye or something and raised their hands. Any opposed? We don't hear from you. The motion has been carried. That has been passed. How do you like that? Looking forward, I'm very excited about our future. The potential sale of the building and relocation of the chamber will present new opportunities. The economic recovery should heal many of our ailing businesses and provide openings for entrepreneurship and new members to enrich our organization and our community. The community effort, including the Chamber Foundation, to bring a conference center and housing opportunities has a great deal of potential. Our airport can back on track to the growth trajectory it was headed pre-COVID. The other ongoing development projects in our downtown and the waterfront can add character to an already vibrant local community. But what I hope for most is that we hang on to the positive lessons we've learned from the response to the pandemic. We have demonstrated that in our region, everyone counts, everyone matters, and those who can do something about the human condition have learned how to work together on behalf of us all. Thank you, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for your leadership and support during all of this. I actually wanted to invite Rachel up to the podium. Rachel was not only board chair for a couple of years, but she was tremendously supportive of our team, and really just especially during such a challenging time, we wanted to publicly take a moment to just thank her. She was always so great at just checking in with us. We would just randomly, you might just get an email from Rachel like, how are you doing? And also I can't be at every single 182 meetings and every single event, but I'm trying. And all while she was working really hard to expand her business. And actually now's a really good time to tell you all, you need to book yourself a day and go to Aurora sometime this year or early next, because Rachel's been really hard at work on making an amazing experience up there. So just wanted to thank you publicly. We do have a flower arrangement for you to take with you, that one in the center of the table, but we're so grateful, and thank you, Rachel. Phenomenal job as board chair. Rachel also agreed to be board chair after about 1 year on the chamber board, and she really had no idea what she was getting herself into, but just did an incredible job. So thank you. Can't thank you enough. I'll control this and let you do your thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. That's so sweet. And yes, I think I said yes because I only had a year to know what was coming. But it really was a wonderful experience. So thank you, Jennifer, and everybody who's involved with the chamber. And it is my great honor and privilege to be able to pass on this award for Entrepreneur of the Year to Stephanie Holzbar. Such a privilege to be able to pass this award to you tonight, and I thought I'd just start by actually reading the criteria for the award so we actually can hear some of all the things that Stephanie actually ticks off on the list of the reasons why somebody becomes Entrepreneur of the Year. So it's a startup or existing Tompkins Chamber member business that has demonstrated the following characteristics: significant growth, new job creation, launch of new products, and or expansion into new markets, addition of new business locations to the business portfolio, or other characteristics of entrepreneurial spirit. I'm pretty sure all of those fall under Stephanie's heading. Nominees who demonstrated significant new product innovation, effective shifts of business or technology, or maximized opportunity in response to the COVID pandemic. So it is my honor to pass this on to Stephanie, who was selected for demonstrating resilience in the face of adversity, as catering businesses were among the most severely impacted by pandemic restrictions. Many of us saw so many service businesses really get hit, and Stephanie certainly learned to become a master at that word pivot, for sure. For her continued commitment to and investment in the community, and for years of impact on the local economy with Serendipity Catering, which I believe started back in 2003. So you're going on almost 20 years, which is amazing and wonderful. In 2020, Stephanie opened the Back Lot, an outdoor restaurant venue located at Ithaca's South Hill Business Campus, a complete shift in the business model which allowed her to reinvent her highly impacted catering business, retain employees, and provide the community with a COVID-19 friendly gathering space. And now we'd love to share a beautiful video about Stephanie and her business.
I started Serendipity so that we could give customers an experience. Our whole team loves to just create these moments for people. We're all about making sure that every little detail is thought about. When a client asks us, I'd like to have this party and this is the theme or the feeling I want, we sit down as a group to come up with the concept so it feels like them. We really make everything in-house, from that elegant served dinner to very large-scale buffets. Our culinary team and our chef pride themselves on being inventive and creating things that people just love and come back for time and again. With everything that was going on in COVID, we thought, how can we keep the team together and continue? Because we saw no catering. So we looked around and said, where could we put an outdoor restaurant? Back of the building, there's a huge 70,000 square foot lawn. Next thing you know, the Back Lot was born. It's a space that really evokes like a backlot of a movie studio. It's so much space that people can sit down and enjoy a really great meal and a really good cocktail.
Working here, it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot from Stephanie. I feel like I've brought a lot to the plate for her, and it's been a really great partnership. She's built a great company with a foundation to do a lot of cool things. Our chef, Frank Perazzi, and I have a lot of experience in the restaurant side of things, and Steph literally brought us to the field and said, we're gonna do this here, and we said, okay. So having an experience that you create and invite your friends and family to has been a big blessing for us here.
I've been here for 16 years and I started in a very tiny closet. So we're thrilled to be coming every day to such a nice location right here on South Hill. For the future of Serendipity, we would love to own our own space and have people celebrate there and have Serendipity.
There's a lot of new challenges along the way, but she makes sure that we're ready to face them, and we are fortunate to be along for the ride. There's certainly nothing that we feel we can't accomplish together.
Congratulations, Stephanie, and I'd love to invite you up to accept your award.
Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm really short. Hi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that the Chamber has done for me. Oh, I was going to try not to be super emotional, but it has been a really hard year. And I thank Alex Puya for being there with me and my whole team. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do this. It has been hard. But I do thank everyone for seeing the vision that we had to open out an outdoor restaurant. It's really tough to take a team where it's catering. You know, my kitchen will leave when it's daylight, you know, and I asked them to pivot into a restaurant where they had been before, which is very different. So we're very excited to be in person again and being in a venue like this. really look forward to going back to what we did, but we're thrilled that we were able to do the back lot. My team is out there right now in this lovely 80-degree weather, and I hope you can all come up and enjoy, as you saw from this amazing Well Said video, where you can see the whole space that we have created. And it's been really a place where so many people that hadn't been out came to, and were able to sit down and be at a distance, but be together, and it was something that when we saw that video, we're in the trenches of the back lot, but seeing that really overhead view and realizing what we had done, and then teaming up with Cinemapolis and creating movies last year was amazing to have people actually come and see a movie and feel like their normal selves for a few hours on the Hill. So I thank Andy Schraba and Linda Luciana at the South Hill that have always seen what we can potentially do and give us more space and more space. We have over 6,000 square feet, so we're really happy to be on South Hill. And I again thank Rachel for her support always, and everyone at the Chamber. And again, 19 years ago when I started at the Chamber, everybody was so supportive every year that we decided to do something different. So thank you, everyone. This means so much to me. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite George Ferrari up to present the next award.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very excited to be here with you today, and that we're together in community. No amount of pandemic can quarantine the passion to be together and the value of being together in the form of community, both virtually and today here at this space. As a previous recipient of the Community Foundation of Not-for-Profit of the Year, what I like to call Mission-Driven Sector Entity of the Year, that's what we're about in our sector, is about our mission. I am so pleased to be able to present this award, and in particular for this particular honoree, the Greater Ithaca Activities Center, aka GIAC. Please allow me to share with you the criteria for the award, and then I'll mention a few reasons why GIAC is the very well-deserved honoree this year from multiple nominations. The award goes to a Tompkins Chamber member nonprofit business that has demonstrated some or all of the following characteristics throughout the year: sound organizational or business practices, growth in capacity or service as an organization, commitment to the community and the constituents served, or major project or initiative which demonstrated community impact, a nonprofit partner service provider which helps the Tompkins Chamber increase its impact on the community and service to our members. Nominations for 2020 should consider particularly commendable or impactful responses to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here is just a small sampling from multiple nominations of why GIAC is well deserving of this honor. GIAC is being recognized for providing critical services throughout the pandemic, reaching children, seniors, and the community at large, all while working to address systemic racism, which GIAC has done from its beginning before so many other people in our community have woken up to this need. And advanced social justice initiatives. GIAC staff and volunteers worked around closures, new regulations that changed maybe every hour when you got updates, if you got updates, funding emergencies to support those in need with everything from summer camp to pool access, from school support to holiday gifts, from grocery shopping to exercise classes. GIAC is to be commended for their responses to not only COVID-19 and related budget impacts, but continually fighting systemic racism and inviting all of us to be allies in this very important work in our community through education and working to inspire positive change throughout 2020. Here's a special video from Well Said Media.
We're a people first agency. We're always thinking about What's going to be the thing that supports people where they are and help them to get to the place they want to be? We serve from 4-year-olds all the way through senior citizens and everything in between. We work hard to improve the quality of life for those we serve and fight against oppression and intimidation of all kinds in our community.
We look out for people who are in need, the ones who can't speak up for themselves. We go out and do those kind of things that people don't really know about that with us. We have a whole bunch of different programs here and all the different organizations that have built from GIAC. We have a family atmosphere. I just celebrated 20 years of service, and a lot of people who I've started out with are still here. So the kids that come to this program, GIAC is another home for them. We have kids that come from all the schools. It's like the melting pot of the district. So all the kids mingle and have fun and get to all share these different ideas and cultures and experiences with each other.
We provide multicultural, educational, and recreational programs focused on social and individual development.
Well, I'm a working mom. I have a full-time job. My husband has 2 jobs, actually. So to be able to know that your child is in a safe place, having fun, that they're helping them with their homework and taking care of them while you can't, is something that's priceless, to tell you the truth.
When COVID hit, not having any children in this building was probably the worst experience for me in my professional career. That's how important they are to us.
If GIAC wasn't here, I think we have a lot of kids who will be displaced, and it couldn't be done without the support of the community as well. We're still trying to expand and grow on what we're doing, so in the future when things open back up, come out, volunteer, teach the kids something, teach them about your interests, maybe be a different career path that they might go down or a hobby they might pick up now.
What we ask all our staff to do is come in, bring your unique perspective, bring your ideas, and add to this beautiful fabric of what GIAC is.
And now to receive the Tompkins County Chamber Not-for-Profit of the Year recognition, Leslie McBean Claiborne and Company, I think, perhaps? And Company, yes.
Well, hello, and good evening, everyone. If anybody knows me, you know that I was writing, thank you, Chamber, for little name tags so that I can write a speech on it. I know the staff know me, they're laughing. Travis is handing me extra pieces of paper. Greg, I appreciate your opening comments, and I want to acknowledge for anyone in this room who goes to a spa, gets a pedicure or manicure, one other word to add to our dictionary of new words in our COVID toes. You know, it's been, over a year since a girl's been able to go to a spa. And I was like, I am wearing sandals today. So somebody better fix my toes up so I can put them outside. Like, whoo, we be in a lockdown. Anyhow, thank you all so very kindly for recognizing GIAC and giving us this award. GIAC, we pride ourselves on being a family, and that's why everyone is standing here with us, and the others who are watching via YouTube as well. We all couldn't be in the same space. We do things together, and George is right. For GIAC, from the time we began our work, our mission has been about equity, before it was the buzzword of the day, and justice, racial, educational, economic justice. That has been what underlines everything that we do. I have to speak very quickly about the staff at GIAC. Somehow they seem to have what I describe as a bottomless vat of compassion, dedication, and love for everything they do. They bring that to work every day. And as much as they say, please don't tell us one more thing we're gonna take on, right? They complain about that. when we get the emails saying, hey, we were thinking about, and would GIEC, help? They're like, no, we're not. And before I know it, somebody is showing up with a plan to make whatever it is happen. And they do, because they are, as I said in that video, we are a people first agency. That is what we do. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and countless others did not start the equity movement. It has been here for a very long time. And we have been at the forefront in this community of keeping it active and keeping it live and educating others about how it can be done. At GIEC, our definition of failure is your unwillingness to try. That is how we look at failure. If you're not willing to try, then you have failed. And we are always willing to try. All that we've been seeing live on our television screens that have been pulling at our hearts, with black men and women, brown men and women being gunned down in the street and being murdered in the street, those things only magnified our need to do the work that we are doing, for us to continue to do that work. When COVID hit, of course, we were not unlike anyone else. We felt it. We felt it because all of a sudden, our children weren't in the building, but our staff was like, all right, they're not in the building. We're just gonna offer a program virtually. And they did. They figured out how to offer a program virtually. They're at home with families, and we did that. And then come May 1st, our staff were all furloughed, pretty much all of it. 92% of our staff not working. Our building is closed. New York is on pause. And those of us who worked, and the people standing behind me here, Zach Nelson with the senior program, Carrie Phillips, one of her deputy directors, and Travis Brooks, the other of her deputy directors, we put our heads together and said, what are we going to do? There were days I sat in that building and thought I was losing my mind because I can hear children, but they were not in the building. I'm running upstairs like, I'm hearing noises. Then I say that to you all. It's like, I'm hearing noises. They're people. Because we needed them to be there. And Zach turned around and he said something that I thought was real interesting. He's like, we serve seniors, and Zach is our senior program coordinator. And he said, well, if we can't gather, a senior program is more about a social outings program, let's pivot, which we're good at doing, and do what the seniors need in this moment. They're afraid to go to the grocery stores. They're afraid to go pick up their medicines. How about we provide that service for them? They're at home scared of COVID. How about we make those phone calls and check in? And that's what we did. We turned our program around to do something different and rise to what the challenge was of the day. So I'm very thankful for the team of people who we work with at GIEC. Again, all the others who are watching, this staff is incredible. The real estate in their hearts for equity and justice is unbelievable. It just happens and happens organically. Like our mission, we value those things. I remember, might have been 1999, our mission said one thing, and administration at that time, our governing administration, which was city administration, I don't remember what year it was, says, well, you can't be out there doing rallies and social justice issues and racial and speaking out and all of those things. So we said, okay, because that's not what your mission is about, fine. So we changed our mission. We added 2 sentences. One that says that we will advocate for human and civil rights for folks, and we will fight against intimidation and oppression of all kinds in our community. So tell us we can't do it now. that's what we did. Jennifer, you mentioned February 2nd, and I would be remiss if I did not say that, not February, September 2nd. You're golfing. September 2nd is GIAC's birthday, and next year we'll be celebrating 50 years of being a community organization. So when you golf next year, if you do it on September 2nd, after you're done, we hope to have the biggest party ever where we get to put on our fancy gowns that we don't usually get to wear in Ithaca, and we get to show up. And Jason, we might just be touching base with you so we can be in here, you know, having a party celebrating GIAC 50. Again, thank you for this award. Thank you for recognizing us, and I also want to thank this community, because without our partners in the community, without Bruce and Heather Lane, without the Brooks Family Foundation, without the Park family, without Tompkins Trust Company, without all of the people who came forward when we were like, where are we going to get money to do this stuff? And bring us the resources to be able to do it, we would not have been able to open back up, provide programs, all-day schooling right now for our children, beef up our internet so no one is being, you know, logged off accidentally. So thank you to our community. We don't do this work alone. We do it in partnership with all of you, and we're incredibly grateful. So thank you all. Thank you, Chamber.
Good job, everyone. Just need to go back. We're just doing a little tech check here. Thanks, George. What do you think? We already went through an entire set of batteries, which, you know, it's pretty incredible for the first time out that we talked enough to go through a whole set of batteries already. Hopefully that's what it is, right, Jason?
I think that is what it is, because the light was red.
Ooh.
Let me, and
There
give
we go.
me a chance to turn it down real quick.
Thank you. I was about to hop, whoa, yeah, that's right. We turned it up a little bit because we couldn't hear very well. I almost said, hey, Leslyn, I know you can project more than that. Bring it up a notch, Leslyn, but hopefully everyone heard you. You said so many wonderful things. I'm sorry, we're over time. So I am honored to be able to introduce our Distinguished Business of the Year award this year. I know many of you have been here before and you probably saw the award criteria, but I'm going to just briefly touch on it. Our Distinguished Business of the Year is a chamber member business that has demonstrated investment in their business through job growth, physical expansion, or significant capital investment, made a significant impact on the community, particularly as it pertains to the COVID-19 pandemic and issues that we all navigated last year, is resilient or a pillar of the community, and demonstrated a commitment to the Tompkins Chamber mission. But I think that particularly, given the place that we're at now, and given what I hope and what I think is an increased awareness about issues around mental health, and I hope is something we all agree upon, which is the need to reduce stigma around seeking care for mental health related issues. And also during Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think maybe last week was a week as well or something along those lines, but what more fitting time, particularly after everything everyone's been through, to award Mindwell Center the Distinguished Business of the Year Award. Congratulations. Mindwell received, I've never seen such a flurry of nominations for Distinguished Business of the Year or any kind of award winner. They have a lot of love, and it's really clear that they've impacted so many lives in such a short period of time since they established the Mindwell Center last year. It's a relatively new business. It was established in 2020 in response to these specific and substantial community needs: access to effective, quality mental health care, removing stigma regarding mental health concerns, and making available to all who need it. Mindwell founders Aaron Rackow and Sarah Markowitz have introduced a new model of treatment to our community, and they've expanded their staff. They're already at least 16 people. I would guess they've probably grown their staff since I last asked them how many folks were working there. They're also expanding into other markets in New York State already. And so really just a phenomenal introduction of new services, a new way of providing care, and also addressing some very immediate needs in our community.
Mental health care in our country is too difficult to access. There are far too many barriers. The goal of the Mindwell Center is to try to eliminate or at least mitigate as many of those barriers as possible.
My own experience has been struggling sometimes to find access to care. When you reach out and you feel like there's nobody there, it makes you feel like there's less hope.
When people are struggling or needing to talk to someone, they can come here and get matched to a therapist that's going to be the best fit for them. We don't want patients to have to wait. We want them to be able to book their initial phone intake appointment on our website and then be scheduled right away so that they're getting the services that they need.
Evidence-based mental health care is treatment that has been proven to be effective through research. Evidence-based care also involves measurement-based care so that clients' progress is being monitored and treatment can be adjusted if it needs to be.
The COVID-19 pandemic will have a lasting impact on the mental health and wellness of our society. We've seen an increased request for services from those within our community.
We collaborate and support each other by meeting weekly to hear how everyone's doing. We are able to provide that support and just give different perspectives so that we can give the patients the best possible care. And we are a training center as well.
We must take steps as an organization to train the next generation of mental health care professionals in order to see this work sustained over time. Individuals that work through the training process with Mindwell wind up staying in our region.
There's such a need for wellness support that we need to move beyond the walls of this center and reach out to people where they are.
Community-based model means that we are moving into the community as opposed to requiring people to always come to our offices. Our clinicians are there on site working within school systems, hospital settings, institutions of higher education, corporate workplaces.
One of the beautiful things about this community is there's an understanding in general that no one individual can solve any problem. And there's a willingness to work together. Even if an organization has a wellness program, they know that they can do more. They just don't have the tools that they need. And so they're willing to have a conversation about what role can Mindwell play and how could we work together in solving this important problem.
Sometimes we feel like mental health is something that we should just manage on our own, and that reaching out to a mental health care provider carries with it stigma, but mental health is health, and having access to quality care in the community is essential.
Now I'd like to invite Aaron and Sarah, or whoever else from your team would like to join me at the podium to accept the award.
Thank you, Jennifer, and good evening, everyone. I also want to thank our event sponsors, the members of the board of the Chamber, and everyone else here that's live streaming and here in attendance this evening. We also want to congratulate our fellow attendees. Listening to you all speak this evening, knowing your businesses well, knowing your business for over 40 years myself and GIAC, and our staff and congregating at Serendipity Backlot this evening for a get-together after a hard day of work. It's inspiring to hear your comments, and I appreciate that. The Mindwell Center opened its doors in 2020 in the midst of the worst global pandemic in modern history. Mindwell's co-founder, Sarah Markowitz, and I often hear the question of why? Why did you start a business in the depths of a global pandemic? And the reason is that we heard from our loved ones, we heard from our neighbors, we heard from our community members that there was a need for help. And for us, that is all it took. We felt compelled to support the need, and in doing so, do our small part to provide a lasting framework of mental health supports for our region. As we begin, and tonight is a great example of this, to reemerge as a society from the isolation that has been a necessity for the past year, as we begin to take stock of the immense loss that we have collectively suffered, and as we once again begin to feel the sunlight on our faces and experience a much overdue reconnection with the ones we love, we know that the mental health impact of this pandemic, unfortunately, is far from over. MindWell's mission is very simple: to provide mental health care supported by science, to be maximally effective, and to do it in a manner that makes the process as easy for the individuals as possible. We're very fortunate in this particular community to be able to be joined in this mission by a community full of incredibly passionate mental health care professionals. We want to publicly thank each member of the MindWell team, many of whom are here virtually with us this evening. These are incredibly passionate, committed individuals, professionals that I have the privilege of saying are some of the best colleagues I've ever known in my career. We also would like to thank the clients and their loved ones who have entrusted MindWell with their care. And finally, we want to be able to thank everyone here tonight for your contributions to our community. We share in your love of this region. And as someone that has called Ithaca my home for over 40 years, we know that we will make it through this chapter together and come out stronger. Thank you.
Step to the table. Here you go. Congratulations. We should have mentioned this earlier, but all the award winners are free to take the flowers on your tables home with you. Everyone else at your tables, you're going to have to duke it out. We're not in charge of that. Also, Assembly Member Anna Kellis has provided a proclamation, citations for all the award winners this evening. So that's what's in that beautiful blue envelope that I'm handing everyone. Now I would like to invite Gary Stewart up to the podium. Gary is going to present our Key Person of the Year award. If any of you were watching from home last year, you might recall that Gary was our last key person, probably the only two-time key person. He made me promise I wouldn't do anything, so I'm just going to hold off as long as I can because I know it's making him so uncomfortable right now. I love you, Gary. Here you go.
Thanks for getting out of the way. So, good evening. It's so great to see some smiling, full faces this evening. The Chamber's Key Person of the Year Award, newly named this year for Noel Desch, is awarded annually to an outstanding Chamber of Commerce advocate and member who is committed to Tompkins County's business and nonprofit communities through day-to-day engagement and leadership. The late Noel Desch was one of my mentors, and his steady collaborative spirit and shared interest in community life were essential and valued over several decades. In short, he was an outstanding humanist and leader. A few years ago, someone asked me if Noel Desch was a Republican or Democrat. I said, I don't know, but he sure gets a lot of work done for the common good. Noel Desch was a civil engineer and a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve. He worked for both Cornell and the community at many, many levels. During his campus career, he was the chief design engineer and director of maintenance of facilities. He retired in 1998. He also served as a town of Ithaca supervisor for 12 years and was one of the founders of the Southern Cayuga Lake Intermunicipal Water Commission. In that role, he helped lead the creation and construction of the Ithaca wastewater treatment plant that opened in 1987, remains a model of environmental stewardship and efficiency. All this on top of key roles on a myriad of local boards and committees that benefited from his experience, love of teamwork, and inclusive deliverables. It was never about Noel versus community needs and opportunities. And the Chamber's grateful it can honor his memory by naming its Key Person of the Year award after Noel Desch, who won this award in 1995. It's great to see that so many friends and family of Noel's are here tonight. And now please welcome Janet Desch for a few words about Noel, her husband of 65 years. Well, thank you, Mrs. Desch. Please.
And Mrs., huh?
That's right.
Okay. On behalf of Noel, I want to thank the Chamber for naming this award for him. He would both be honored and pleased. He loved being a member of the Chamber. Now, Noel always had a project, and one of his, sorry.
That's okay.
Here we go. Can you hear me back there? No, you can't hear me? How about now? Yay, okay. Noel always had a project, and about 10 years ago, he decided he was going to make a log cabin out of some 30-year-old trees that had fallen in an ice storm. Trees that we had planted, 100 of them, when they were about a foot high. That was back in the days when I could bend over all day. So he was building the cabin, and one day I said to him, "You spend so much time up there in those woods. You must have a wood nymph." And I said, so about 3 weeks later, I went up to the cabin, and he had carved a wood nymph out of a tree trunk about 4 feet high and about a foot around. And I said, "She's very elegant, but she needs some clothes." So he took off his shirt and put it on her. And I said, "That's very nice." So then after that, the wood nymph just guarded the cabin, but she didn't do a very good job because she always let the mice get in. So Noel occasionally would give the thought for the day at Rotary. So tonight, I would like to leave you with my thought for the evening. This was written by Joshua Lieben, and it reads, "Treasure each other in the recognition we do not know how long we shall have each other." Thank you. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Mrs. Desch. And I'll ask, when we're breaking up here, one of your traveling party to grab one of those bouquets of flower to take home. So thank you. What a privilege to know Noel and his spirit's with us tonight. So being asked to introduce the Chamber's 2021 Key Person of the Year is unsettling for someone who received this honor in 2020, AKA me. It's sort of like a low-level staffer in Franklin Roosevelt's administration being asked to introduce the leader of the free world. Like, "Hi, my name's Gary, and I work in HR. Please welcome the President of the United States." The Noel Desch Key Person of the Year is Frank Krupa. I got about 1/20th of that last year. In early 2020, Frank quickly became one of the most important and knowledgeable leaders in our community and virtually a household name through his tireless efforts and leadership of the Tompkins County Health Department and as Mental Health Commissioner. Frank has met the unprecedented challenges associated with all things COVID, including vaccinations, with, quote, transparency, data, lots of extra hours, and grace, according to one nominator. Throughout 2020 and beyond, Frank and his teams collaborated with numerous key community and regional partners, including Cuba Health System, Cornell University, Ithaca College, local governments, and others to support one of the most effective community responses to the pandemic in the United States. He has been a lead author and visionary in one of the most important and successful chapters in the history of Tompkins County. And everyone here tonight, or watching via Zoom or anywhere else, can hardly thank Frank, and by extension his colleagues, enough. He has helped virtually every resident of Tompkins County, and it's been a privilege for many chamber members to work with him. For these reasons and many more, now please welcome Frank Krupa, the Tompkins County Chamber of Commerce 2021 Noel Dash Key Person of the Year.
Thank you all very much. This is not a comfortable place for me. I'm a civil servant that generally is working in the background, just trying to make sure that our community is as healthy and safe as it can be. And to be recognized here tonight is amazing. And to Mrs. Desch, I didn't have the opportunity of meeting your husband, but to know, now have learned more about him and know that his name is on this award, it makes the honor that much more special. So thank you. You'll have to bear with me tonight. You may know back in March of last year, the county stole away Dominic Recchio from the chamber to be our communications director. And he's generally the one that makes me sound smart when I'm talking about things. And I didn't get my talking points from him today, so I'm doing this on my own, so bear with me. Starting with some thanks I have to get out there. First, my wife Andrea is here with me. My daughter Lily's at home. I couldn't have done this without them. The hours away have been tremendous, and to know that they were at home taking care of things there, I couldn't have been more well supported through all of this, so thank you so very much. Also with me here tonight, I have Claire Espy and Rachel Buckwalter. They are our leadership in our nursing program, and so none of this could have been possible without the amazing team that we have at the health department, their support, their team, and all of the folks that have been working innumerable hours trying to make sure we had as much information out to our community as we could and to help navigate this pandemic as best we could. And for anyone that has not yet been vaccinated, Rachel will be catching you at the door on your way out. So thank you to both of you and your teams for everything that you guys have done over the last year or so. I mentioned Dominic Recchio. Back at the Emergency Operations Center, there's been a handful of folks that, quite frankly, I've spent more time with them than I have with Andrea over the last 14 months or so. Dominic, Amy Hendricks, Jason Molino, Jay Franklin, those folks have become family over the last 14 months. They've helped center me. They've been sounding boards. They've provided advice and guidance through all of this, and none of it would have been possible without their support and efforts as well. I know they're back watching now and probably texting me, making fun of me, but I do want to thank them for all of their support and time and effort that they've put in over the last year or so. Community partnerships. There's been a lot said about that as we've gone through the evening. Our partners at Cayuga Health Systems, Dr. Stallone and his team, our higher education partners, Cornell, Ithaca College, TC3. It was amazing. The last time I think I was in a room with this many people, we were at the health department and we were joking about who was going to cancel commencement and slope day. Unimaginable. We can't do that. How could that ever possibly happen? And who would have known where we ended up? And all of those decisions and conversations were done together as a community to make sure whatever we were doing was in the best interest of all of us. And so thank you to all of those partners for being there with us as we've gone through all of this. when I pre-COVID, as I like to call it now, I talked to my colleagues about Tompkins County and how it was special, and I would generally get, "Oh yeah, we know you guys are special in Tompkins County," right? Yeah. And so, you know, they heard about the deer sterilization that we were doing and some of the other, you know, interesting things that we come up with here in Tompkins County that really, you know, set us apart because we're trying to do things differently. And now, when I get together with my colleagues and we're talking, they want to know, what's so special about Tompkins County? How did you do what you did over the last 14 months? It has been nothing short of miraculous. The disease levels that we've seen here in Tompkins County, however you want to measure it, set the standard in New York State. And that wasn't by accident. And it wasn't because of me alone or even just us at the health department. It really was the response that our community had that really came together and said, okay, what can we do as a community to make sure we're as healthy and safe as we can be as we navigate this pandemic? So we are special, and now they all know it, and we have proof. So thank you all for that support as we've navigated that. One thing I want to leave with, Jason Molino, County Administrator, I think many of you know he's going to be leaving shortly. And one of the things as the nights got late and the conversation started to devolve into craziness, he and I would go back and forth about who had more power. Right? He's the county administrator. He could issue executive orders. I was the public health director. I could issue public health director orders. For a while, he was winning, right? Executive orders from the county administrator. Yeah, the super powerful guy. Then the governor took that power away. So I jumped ahead, and things were good. And then he somehow got the legislature to commit to millions of dollars for testing with Cuyahoga Health Systems. And well, how could I compete with millions of dollars of testing and that kind of support? So he was kind of ahead, and I was afraid he was going to be leaving town being ahead. Well, key person of the year, I think I won. Thank you all. I absolutely appreciate it. It's an honor to be here and be recognized amongst this group and those watching on YouTube with us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate everything that you all have done. It's really made my job that much more special, knowing that the people that I was trying to help wanted that help and wanted to be a part of the solution. So thank you all so very much for this honor.
So I learned, this needs fresh batteries again. I can project. I learned recently that Frank is way taller than I thought he was. I was on I don't know how many Zooms, how many Learn webinars, how many whatevers, and I was like, you know, I only ever saw Frank from here up. And then I walked in to tell him he was Key Person of the Year, and he walked up to me, and I was like, holy crap, he's way taller than I thought he was. I'm stalling just a tiny bit, if you can't tell. A word from our sponsors in the back corner. The wine bar is now open for the rest of the evening. Don't go too crazy, but you don't need a ticket anymore. They just wanted us to tell you that. Thank you again, Gary. Did you have another speech prepared? Did you want to? This mic's not going to work. You can.
Oh, so I'm going to tee up Marty, right?
Yeah. I'll let you tee Marty up now.
Yeah. So it's so fascinating the things you learn at the chamber banquet about Frank's height and other things. And I think one of the things that you left out of the power dynamic was the retiring chair of the county legislature, Leslie McBean-Claiborne, who not only had a full-time ×10 job with GIAC over the last 14 months, but showed such tremendous leadership with the Tompkins County Legislature. And she's going to be leaving that group later this year. And Leslie, this could not have happened without you. And so many people in this room, including me, love you so much. So thank you. Finally, now please welcome Dr. Marty Stallone, President and CEO of Cuyahoga Health System.
Let's see if I can get you some.
Sure.
That was not me, I promise. I do not want that on my conscience at all. I'm gonna see if I can get you some fresh batteries, Doctor.
Okay. Can I be heard if I talk like this?
All right. Well, thank you very much for having us. We're very pleased to be a presenting sponsor for this evening. I promise to be brief. I think I'm in the unenviable position of starting this 20 minutes after the purported end time, and so I'll just be brief. But Jen did ask that I provide wrap-up comments for the evening. In so many words, have the last word, and that's better than any proposition. I typically don't have the last word, and rumor has it they're going to ask my wife to come up afterwards and make it the way it normally is in our home. So I think Jen was looking, I lead the Seoul Community Hospital and Health System, Cayuga Health System. A lot of people get confused with the Cayuga family of organizations. There's Cayuga Health System, Cayuga Medical Center, Cayuga Health Partners, and any word that starts with Cayuga is typically one of our healthcare practices. And so I lead that organization of 400 proud providers, and we were very pleased to have a wonderful part in this otherwise horrible pandemic. We were very humbled to play the role that we did. I just want to say thank you to the business community. We really we wouldn't have been able to respond in the way we would have, and I think Frank touched on this point, without the capabilities and the capacity and the response that existed within the community. We're all about Tompkins County. We're all about serving the local community. We do extend into Cortland and Schuyler counties, but we're really focused on this community as healthcare providers, and it is so great to have a business environment and an organization like the Chamber of Commerce to bring organizations together to do the kinds of things that happened this past year, which were nothing short of remarkable. And to be brief, I'm not going to name everything, but I do want to talk about the reflections based on what I saw. First and foremost, this community was a yes community. We faced really hard problems that befuddled other communities, and our response was always yes and. I didn't hear no ever. I rarely heard yes but. I always heard yes and yes we can, and how are we going to do this together? The other thing about this community very clearly is that we went out of our normal lanes, and I say that as a good thing. Normally we think about staying in our lanes and being conservative. We went way out of our normal set of activities, and we found other partners there seeking innovative solutions, and we found them. The third thing that I noticed was that we used resources and talents that existed in the community and were built and gathered and assembled before the pandemic started. And I think we have to take note of that as a community, because these things don't spontaneously occur. They have to be guarded and created and cultivated. I'll just reference two quick examples. In Kodama, a local custom manufacturer, I was on the phone shortly after the supply chains froze, asking Sean Whitaker to manufacture 200 custom face masks for our healthcare workers, and within 48 hours, we had them. Lest I remind everyone, we had local testing manufacturing capability to equip a greatly expanded testing capability, not something that exists in every community. So we had resources, but that's a credit to the local business community and why the Chamber of Commerce and organizations like this are so important to guard it. I'm not going to go through the actions. I could talk about these at depth, but I do want to just list some of the amazing things that happened this year. Jennifer mentioned some of these, but we sent a mobile team of 60 people to New York City, donated from multiple healthcare practices across the community. Those doctors and nurses and other healthcare providers learned how to treat COVID better than anyone before it reached upstate New York. And I think that was amazing. That really put us ahead of the curve. I believe we are the largest community contribution to the epidemic that was happening in New York. In terms of testing, you all know what happened at the mall site, but also with our partners at Cornell, transforming the veterinary college capabilities, the Animal Health Diagnostic Center, into a human lab. Within really a month or two, turning that in a New York State environment, nothing short of remarkable. I mean, we really, I think, turned heads doing that. Lab development, medical directorship, supervision, all that stuff happened. Contact tracing. Frank's team did something amazing, tracking hundreds, if not thousands of people a day with the help of our nurses from our network. That was really the secret sauce. It wasn't the testing, it was the data that got into the hands of public health department and brought people to isolation and quarantine. So thank you for that. Thank you for the partnership. Not common in upstate New York or anywhere else that I'm aware of. The production of masks reminded me of a World War II effort. thousands of masks, over 100,000 masks manufactured at a time when we needed them as supply chains were freezing. Amazing stuff. Supporting schools and businesses with daily symptom checking. Over 20,000 people a day logging into Cayuga Health Systems to get guided to or from testing and what to do next, telemedicine appointments. Orders of magnitude more than we've ever done before, set up by our software developers in a matter of weeks. Another amazing accomplishment. And then the vaccine program. We were taunting each other of who would make the most provocative statement when we told the state that we could deliver 10,000 vaccines per week. Every other health system in upstate New York stayed silent. That was really a proud moment for Tompkins County. It was a proud moment for Cayuga Health. And we really do have the highest vaccination rates and the best results to date. So thank you. So wrapping up and getting us out while there's still some light, what does this teach us? What should we take to the next step? I do believe things are brighter in the future. Things are getting better. We're here without masks. It's great to see everyone. This is a wonderful event. Many more to come. What should we take to the next step? Somebody said, this will not be the last challenge we face together. And to waste the lessons learned would be a travesty. Cooperations and partnership are number one on the list. We need to be a partnership community. We need to look for solutions outside ourselves. We need to be motivated not to be solo. We're greater together than we can ever be alone. COVID has taught us that. Second, a local focus. It's really important for an organization like mine to think about improving care statewide, but my duty is to Tompkins and Schuyler County, and that's who we are dedicated to serving. Same thing with the Public Health Department. Same thing with the effects of a robust and healthy business community. We have a great ability to use small businesses, service organizations, not-for-profits, all arrangements of groups and activities to benefit the communities that we serve. And I think GIAC is a wonderful example of just that. And congratulations to you and all the award winners. And finally, out-of-box thinking that's bold and brave and involves risk. Last year involved so much risk, I care not to think about it. We talk about the county contract for testing. Little is it known that we went $2 million, and I have some board members of the hospital here, $2 million in the negative in testing before we were sure we were going to have the Rheonics machines set up. And we were sure that if we got that capability, we would come back and it was the right thing to do. But risks like that were really important to take. It was a risk to send our healthcare workers to New York City when we might have experienced a surge before they got back. But we felt that that was where the need was and the capabilities were needed there, and we would learn lessons that were instrumental. These and hundreds of others that you could lecture about involve the risk and the boldness that we need to continue to take in this community to be everything we can. So indeed, the future is bright. Cayuga Health is here to partner with organizations in the community. We're solely focused to the health of this community and this region. I look forward to working with other organizations in the future and maintaining a healthy business community. I want to thank Jennifer and the Chamber for providing such a wonderful forum and taking the lead on re-aggregating people and bringing us together one last time. So thank you, and I'm going to hand it over for Jennifer for the real last word. Thank you.
Sorry, Marty, I really was going to let you have the last word, but something happened with your slide. I really did have a slide for you. I just wanted you to know that.
It's better than me anyway.
I think it looks just like you. This is brief at this point. Thank you again for being here with us this evening. I kept looking at this room and seeing all of you and just thinking, oh my goodness, this really happened. I'm so happy that you're all here. Everyone who spoke tonight, the award winners, again, our sponsors and our board members, and everyone who contributed to making this a success, our team members as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad that we've found a model that can work. Thank you, all of you at home. You probably didn't get enough attention tonight. I'm looking right at you, I hope. Thank you so much for being here. We have a lot of work yet to do, but we have an incredible community and we have so much hope and so much opportunity. So again, thanks everyone, and we'll see you real soon.
Just another quick reminder, our friends at Sheldrake Point really quick, before our